Hi drama queens! Today's episode question is, what's the craziest thing you have done all because you were jealous? Don't you want to know what a level-headed judge like Ji-ho would do when he's jealous? So get comfy everybody, and let's binge. Episode 5 starts with another flashback about Ji-ho. He's getting counseling for his inability to socialize with others. There are concerns from the higher-ups that this points to a deeper-rooted psychological issue, which is dangerous for a judge who's making life-changing judgments every day. As he talks through his past with his counselor, she's able to slowly uncover the root cause. It turns out Ji-ho's ex-wife is a highly ambitious woman who strives for perfection in everything she does. Even when she divorced Ji-ho, she made sure to pay him more than enough alimony so she doesn't get judged for mistreating him. Ji-ho is deeply affected by his ex-wife's logical, almost cold attitude towards love, so much so that he's turned into an aloof person himself, until he meets Sang-Eun, which causes a stir in him again. Fate would have it that all her divorces occurred in his family court. A high score of 6 times in 2 years has forced him to remember her. Question is, how does she not remember him? Fate would also have it that he ran into Sang-Eun and Woo at dinner one time and overheard Sang-Eun talking about how she's been helping disillusioned men. That's how he learned the nature of her work and picked up one of her business cards by accident. Thus started their 5-year fake marriage marathon. At this point, Ji-ho is well aware that his feelings for Sang-Eun has turned serious. Just as he's debating how to take this relationship further, the news on TV brings him out of his deep thoughts. Hae-Jin wants to dispel the rumor that he's gay and stop his family from pressuring him to marry. So he's put a bad disguise on his crush Sang-Eun and takes her in front of the press to announce their pending marriage. Such a sudden turn of events leaves Sang-Eun completely baffled. She questions Hae-Jin when they're out of earshot. He expresses that his family is extremely unhappy with him right now and he doesn't want his mom to be caught up in the crossfire. He hopes Sang-Eun will consider helping him. Still annoyed by the fact that he didn't bother asking her first, Sang-Eun outright refuses. You tell him, girl. Hae-Jin doesn't press further. Instead, he gives her the key of his getaway car and lets her know that she can use it to slip away from the paparazzi. In the parking garage, Sang-Eun is shocked to find that Hae-Jin's getaway car is a food delivery bike. Inside it, there's even a uniform for the driver. Ji-ho comes home to an empty house and feels disappointed that his appointment with Sang-Eun fell through. The next day on the subway, a passenger beside Ji-ho is reading an article about Hae-Jin's new fiancé. Ji-ho looks over her shoulder and reads along with her and is so into it he blurts out, "I'm not done reading yet," when she scrolls too fast. The girl quickly gets up to avoid this weirdo. An awkward Ji-ho is too cute. When he arrives at work, he hears his co-workers discussing the same news again. A die-hard Hae-Jin fan starts blasting Sang-Eun, using all the insults she can think of to describe this mystery woman who's stolen her oppa. Ji-ho feels irritated to hear this and assigns her a mountain of work to shut her up. Throughout the day, Ji-ho feels super restless. He puts his seal on the divorce papers, but something in him is making him stall. While discussing how to sentence a spouse that married multiple times, Ji-ho thinks back to his ex-wife, who is a prosecutor. She's the kind of person who would entertain all kinds of men just to get ahead. Feeling his anger rising, Ji-ho blurts out, "The death penalty." His co-workers are confused. Isn't the death penalty a little extreme for such an offense? As for Sang-Eun, because she sold all she had to bail Miss Yu out, she doesn't even have a car anymore. She drives a rental car to pick up Miss Yu from prison and takes her back to her dingy apartment room. The landlord is once again badgering Miss Yu for overdue rent, to which she pays again with a brand name bag. Miss Yu has serious cash flow problems, likely due to all the luxury bags that she's buying. The only money she holds onto are the transfers sent to her by Sang-Eun all these years. Sang-Eun takes Miss Yu home, who looks around her house with lots of judgment in her eyes like she's way too good for this place. I don't get this lady at all. She also judges Woo super hard and assumes that he is Sang-Eun's live-in maid. She tells Sang-Eun that she will definitely pay back all her debt before she leaves, which shocks Woo because that's an astronomical amount, so is this new roommate here to stay for good? Miss Yu shows up her pimping skills again and tells Sang-Eun that she'll set her up with a rich guy so she can live in luxury. To stop her in her tracks quickly, Sang-Eun holds onto Woo and tells Miss Yu that he is her husband. Miss Yu is literally thrown aback by this, and the look of constant judgment turns into a look of concern and disgust. Sang-Eun's been so busy lately that she's not had time to confide in Woo. To get out of earshot of Miss Yu, the two of them go to the condo playground and Sung-yeon tells Woo about the recent events that's led to her taking on the role of Hae-Jin's fiancé. She doesn't have the heart to turn down Hae-Jin's pleas for help after all. But Woo brings up the point that Ji-ho will likely be jealous if he finds out about this weird arrangement. Sung-yeon then shares her annoyance at Ji-ho for constantly ruining any romantic tension that grows between them. Speaking of Ji-ho, she suddenly remembers that he's invited her to her home for dinner and she's not yet giving him a response. She asks Woo if it's too late now to respond, and he basically tells her it's better late than never. So Sung-yeon puts on the delivery man outfit and goes to Ji-ho's apartment. But she actually runs into Ji-ho near the elevator and panics because of the weird getup that she has on. While she's deciding to show herself or not, Ji-ho's already noticed the weird stranger lurking in the corner. He mistakes her to be the stalker from last time and attacks her. When Sung-yeon finally reveals herself, Ji-ho figures that she's dressed like this because she's here to see Hae-Jin. He gets jealous and distances himself from her, telling her that they will talk on Wednesday because this isn't their day yet. Sung-yeon tries to explain, but he doesn't give her a chance at all, so she brings her frustration all the way to Hae-Jin's apartment to unleash it on him. Along with her anger, she also unleashes a contract with an outrageous price tag. Hae-Jin is so desperate to spend time with her, as her fake husband no less, that he doesn't even flinch. So just like that, he's contracted her to be his wife on Tuesday, Thursday, and Saturday. Ji-ho continues to struggle with his feelings for Sung-yeon, and he uses running as a way to relieve his stress. When he eventually does meet Sung-yeon for dinner, Sung-yeon brings up her contract with Hae-Jin voluntarily. She says she can't divulge the details because she has to protect Hae-Jin's privacy, but she would like Ji-ho to know about it. He thinks the reason she's doing this is because she needs money, and he offers to extend his contract with her to help her out financially. This hurts Sung-yeon's feelings even more. It feels like all the progress that Ji-ho's made the past few weeks in opening up to her have not been because he has unexplored feelings towards her, but instead is driven purely by pity? Ji-ho is flustered when he sees Sung-yeon this angry. He doesn't really know what he did or said wrong. From that day onwards, Sung-yeon would often show up in public places with Hae-Jin in order to solidify the rumor that Hae-Jin has a fiancé that he will marry soon. Of course, she takes care to cover up so she's not easily identified. She would even get him to drive his car to makeout spots where paparazzi camp out and use the time to catch up on lost sleep while letting the journalist's vivid imagination run wild. News of their steamy romance soon reaches Ji-ho as well. He wants to strangle the female co-workers who excelled at gossip far more than actual work, but he's worried that if he does that, he won't get real-time updates anymore in case the fake romance turns into real love. Soon, it's the last day of Sung-yeon's contract with Ji-ho. He's worked up the courage to talk to her properly before it's too late, but the normally punctual Sung-yeon doesn't even bother to show up to work at all. This upsets Ji-ho so much. Ugh, my heart aches for him seeing him sitting there in the empty apartment waiting for her. He even runs to his psychologist for advice, and she tells him to follow his heart. He decides to finally confront his true desires head-on. As for Sung-yeon, she's knee-deep in her new contract with Hae-Jin. She shows up regularly to allow pictures to be taken of her. Unfortunately, one of these times she's too careless and leaves without her sunglasses, and the paparazzi gets ready to follow her to get an uncovered photo. Ji-ho arrives in his car just in time to intercept, and tells them she's my wife, so leave her alone. While she's handling her professional duties diligently, Sung-yeon is heartbroken because she can't get over Ji-ho, and spends all her Sundays being a couch potato. When she eventually gets sick of herself and decides to go for a hike to readjust her moods, she gets up to leave and runs into a serious Ji-ho standing at her door. He calls her out for being unprofessional and not showing up to work, and tells her sadly, "I've been waiting for you." Don't you guys find that when a guy who's not good at expressing his feelings finally says something touching, it makes your heart flutter all the more? Yes, you might have to suffer through quite a few heartaches or infuriating conversations in the meantime, but those moments of true vulnerability kind of makes it worth it. I hope now that Ji-ho has finally decided to accept his feelings, he'll go after Sung-yeon bravely and expresses himself honestly. He seems like the kind, no? If that's the case, then they got together faster than I expected since we're only on the 5th episode. That makes you wonder what else will get in their way, doesn't it? Well, let's keep watching to find out. Please take some time to subscribe and turn on the notification, and I'll see you all in the next episode of Love in Contract. Thank you.